Hello, this is Miho recording this in Canada. How are you guys doing? I hope your mental, physical health are good and fit. So, today I'm going to talk about the topic of the guilt, the feeling of the guilt. Maybe some of you have this feeling or had this feeling, and this is something it's so heavy. If you know or if you had the guilt feeling, it really pulls you down. Even though you look or behave like nothing had happened, it's always cheerful, you could do that. But when you have this feeling of the guilt, it really stays heavily with you. And it just, life in overall, it doesn't run well because you have this really heaviness inside of you. And in order to lift it, you need to forgive yourself. And this guilt feeling could be coming from others, maybe your parents, your partners, your friends. Something happened, and then this guilt feeling is put on you by others. And I have, exactly the same experience. But at the same time, you have this feeling of guilt coming in from within too. So it's like a vice versa. Like you need a two-way connection to feel the guilt feeling. So when you let go, meaning that you forgive yourself. When the people can't forgive something that happened in the past, usually they cannot forgive themselves. So it coming from inside as well. So when you let go yourself and forgive yourself, it really changes the whole energy of yourself, the whole conscious level, because you're not holding on to that guilt feeling. You forgive yourself to be free, to be happy, even though you felt that deep, the guilt feeling. But when you forgive yourself, you become who you are. You become the core of yourself. You look at the event that happened before as a neutral things. Say, for instance, for me, it was between my parents and me. I met this guy from Canada and wanted to get married, the love of my life. I didn't plan this to, to make things worse. The relationship between my parents and me, we always fought for things. It's constant. So I knew when I brought up this getting married subject, I knew already that they could kick me out or disown me or some sort of that line. And literally it happened. So I had this guilt feeling because I didn't follow, what my parents wish or expectation or the path they put in front of me. I totally went against it. But in order to reach that decision of mine, it really a struggle because I was brought up in Japan. I knew all the cultural expectations and expectation from my parents. Yet after a long struggle, like literally it was suffocating, I decided to follow my heart, because I have my own life I like to live, but at the same time I wanted to please my parents, but I couldn't do both. So I was in between, and this guilt feeling started to form inside of me. Plus, my parents also couldn't forgive me for the longest time, so that it always brought up this guilt feeling. Every time they mentioned something, it always brought up this guilt feeling, which was so heavily pulled me down, stayed with me. And I didn't know what to do with it. It was there. then what happened was that I decided to really let go of myself, to forgive what I've done. I didn't intentionally try to, suffocate or suffer my parents, but it turned out to be, it kind of seemed that way. So, I took that event as a neutral thing, and I just forgave myself, and to live who I am, to be really centered with myself, be healthy and mentally active, and be who I am. So when you do that, your energy changes, your the field, the aura changes, and it will travel in energy wise. And my parents also, I guess, over the many years, maybe they started to let go, because I wasn't pulling in the negative side anymore. It's like, in order to have this balance, you have to have a negative and negative, and now you have to balance it out. But when you let go of this and the balance is off, right, it's no longer pulling each other, so that maybe this party be negative, all of the sudden, like, there's no other end to it to hold their balance. So it's like, oh, what am I doing? Maybe it's not that important anymore. You never know what others thinking or thought of it, because you cannot change other people. That's their things to decide what to do with it. Maybe some people will decide never to forgive, never to let go, and that's their thing. So you cannot really do any control over or force them to do what you want them to do. Only thing you could do is from within, the change from within. So like I said, like, if you cannot forgive others, if you had that feeling, usually you cannot forgive yourself. And when you look at that whole system, when you can let go of that guilt feeling, when you have forgiven yourself and you can forgive others, it's always starts from within. So if you have something that really heavy that's sitting inside of you, just try to think that maybe it's your side needs to be let go first. And then somehow it all turns out to be a better situation, which actually did for me. And when you are really feeling the guilt and you can forgive others, it makes you ill. And actually did for my mother too, mentally ill. And that also affects the health as well. So mental really leads to your physical health as well. And then, one thing leads to the another, because you're always, producing a lot of negativities. But when you let go, like when I let go of the guilt feeling and just to forgive myself and live, who I am, and that energy travels. And then my mother somehow, maybe over the years, that she decided, okay, what am I doing this? Just let go. I don't know what happened exactly, because, that's the only, the person only knows what really happened. But it really releases that energy, and energy fields changes. And you could actually, I could actually felt like everything seems so loose and light weighted. So when you are in this situation where you feel this heaviness in your chest, look inside of yourself and just let it go and forgive yourself. And then all of a sudden, all the world around you start to change, because your energy has shifted. And you can really experience this. And instead of being so suffocated and be tight and all tied up feeling, to really release, and you literally have the wing behind you to fly away wherever you wanted to go. Just be yourself, be who you are, and that's the freedom inside of yourself. Let go of this guilt feeling by forgiving yourself, and it's all started from within. And when you really, really realize this, the core part of it, you can really lift this guilt feeling. And that's a sense of freedom. And you can be totally with yourself. I had this struggle for years. It's not just 1 year or 2 years. It's literally the entire my life almost. Up till recently. So this feeling of guilt, it really pulls you down. So soon as you let go, it's much, much better for you and other parties as well. And start to change, and you feel that change and see that change as well. So this is the guilt, and forgive yourself. It's a big lesson for me. So hope this helps to lighten up your load, and see you in the next video. Okay, bye bye.